What if I told you the man who became the architect of the AI revolution once cleaned toilets in a Kentucky boarding school? What if I told you the $4 trillion company powering ChatGPT, autonomous vehicles, and next-gen robotics was once 30 days from total collapse? This is not a Silicon Valley fairy tale. This is the real, raw, and relentless story of Jensen Huang, the dishwasher, the immigrant, the engineer, and the warrior who built Nvidia into the most important tech company of our time. Grab a seat. This isn't just a biography. This is a roadmap for resilience, first principles thinking, and bold, high-stakes vision. Born on February 17, 1963, in the city of Tainan, Taiwan, Jensen Huang entered the world with nothing that suggested greatness. At the age of 5, his family moved to Thailand. But fate had other plans. Civil unrest forced a difficult decision. Jensen and his brother were sent alone to the United States. And just like that, the American dream began. Not in Silicon Valley, but in rural Kentucky. They were enrolled in Oneida Baptist Institute, a strict religious boarding school with a Spartan lifestyle. English was a struggle. Loneliness was constant. Money was tight. Jensen washed dishes to survive. He cleaned toilets. He learned how to adapt fast. This wasn't a hardship. It was training. Training in humility, in survival, in resilience. Even despite the chaos of childhood, Jensen excelled. By 16, he graduated high school early. By 21, he earned a bachelor's degree in electrical engineering from Oregon State, where he met his future wife, Lori Mills. He later earned a master's from Stanford. But more importantly, he became obsessed with one thing: parallel computation. At a time when most engineers were chasing faster CPUs, Huang was asking, what if we built a processor that could compute thousands of tasks simultaneously? In 1993, at age 30, Jensen co-founded Nvidia with Chris Malachowski and Curtis Priam. They had no roadmap, no massive funding, just one belief. Graphics processing, especially for gaming, was going to explode. Their early chips were primitive. The tech world didn't take them seriously. And by 1996, they were bleeding cash. Nvidia was 30 days from failure. Jensen made a bet. One last product, a next-gen graphics processor that could process transform and lighting natively, something the industry thought was impossible. The gamble paid off. In 1999, Nvidia released the GeForce 256, the world's first GPU. That same year, Nvidia went public. The GeForce line became legendary. PC gamers were obsessed. Nvidia chips powered immersive, real-time 3D worlds. The company became a giant in the gaming space. By the early 2000s, Nvidia was untouchable in the GPU market. But here's where the story gets interesting. Huang didn't care about just making better gaming cards. He had seen something no one else saw. In 2006, Nvidia released CUDA, a programming model that let developers use GPUs for general computing. At the time, nobody cared. CUDA was seen as a nerdy science experiment. But Jensen knew real innovation doesn't come from improving what already exists. It comes from rethinking the fundamental problem. While others focused on optimizing mobile chips or selling to OEMs, Nvidia was quietly building an empire for AI researchers who, in the 2010s, began using Nvidia GPUs to train early neural networks. There was no market, no profit, no hype, but Nvidia built anyway. Around 2012, Jensen made the boldest decision of his career. He pivoted Nvidia away from a pure graphics company
to a full-stack AI computing company. They built custom GPUs, then they built software frameworks, then SDKs, then developer tools, then data center solutions, then supercomputers. One company, one stack, end-to-end control. Investors called it reckless, peers called it crazy. Huang called it, inevitable. He had one belief: if we make the world's best tool for scientists, developers, and researchers, we'll be the foundation of the next era of computing. In 2022, the world changed. OpenAI released ChatGPT, and behind the scenes, Nvidia chips, CUDA libraries, Nvidia developer tools. Suddenly, the whole world wanted what Nvidia built over the last decade. Data centers, AI labs, cloud providers, national governments. Nvidia's revenue exploded. Its market cap soared past $2 trillion in 2024. By mid-2025, it was worth over $4 trillion. And Jensen Huang? Now worth $148 billion. But nothing changed in how he led. Here's where things get fascinating. Despite his success, Huang runs Nvidia like a startup. He avoids closed-door 1v1s, gives feedback in front of everyone, reads hundreds of top 5 emails from employees each week, keeps 60 direct reports. Why? Because layers kill speed, and speed wins wars. He starts meetings by saying, "We are 30 days from going out of business," not as a scare tactic, but as a philosophy of urgency. He teaches by explaining his reasoning, not giving commands. He doesn't just build chips, he builds a culture of first principles, resilience, and continuous planning. One of Jensen's most controversial beliefs, he once said, "I wish students ample doses of pain and suffering, because adversity forges resilience." He lived it. He expects his people to live it, not in a cruel way, but because he knows that comfort breeds complacency. The company that was once 30 days from death now powers the AI future, but it never lost the founder mentality. Today, Nvidia isn't just a chip company. It's the platform that AI runs on, the foundation of robotics, deep learning, healthcare, energy, and climate simulation. And Jensen Huang? He never brags. He still dresses in his signature black leather jacket, still shows up to conferences like a rock star engineer, but make no mistake, he is the architect of the AI age. Not because he made the best chip, but because he saw the future and built every layer to support it. Jensen Huang's story isn't about chips. It's about conviction in chaos. He didn't just survive adversity. He made it his ally. He didn't just react to change. He built the wave. If you're stuck, broke, doubted, or overwhelmed, remember, the man who changed the future of humanity once scrubbed toilets for food. Stay relentless, stay hungry, and never stop building.